jag ska ge besked. Ja, hur ska vi göra? Tillfälle och lite storage på det. Ja, det lyckas bra nu.
People will go to any lengths in their search for energy. Norwegian oil hunters have found their mecca deep under the North Sea. The Gullfaks field was discovered as early as 1978. The field is highly promising with large quantities of oil and gas, but it soon developed that the riches were hard to get at. Approximately 60% of the field could be exploited by means of two conventional concrete platforms located at moderate depth. The problem area was the eastern part, in the slope down towards the Norwegian Trench, which is more than 200 meters deep, and the almost bottomless clay. The operator, Statoil, gave this challenge to Norwegian contractors. Due to the soft clay, it was necessary to start from the bottom.
To make up our minds before we are able to do
the best engineers were put on the job. The project management had numerous meetings where ideas were presented and rejected. NC had previously designed and built more than 10 condeep platforms for the North Sea, but a conventional gravity condeep might simply tilt in the mud. Gullfaks C required a new concept: skirt piling. Several slim and tall concrete skirts under the storage cells were to carry the weight through the clay and provide stability and anchoring. January '86. The outlines of the bottom take shape in NC's 14-meter deep dry dock. The number of skirts and their dimension represent a compromise between the necessary load-bearing capacity and the load available to force the skirts into the sea floor. As the skirts are being completed, the work on what represents the bottom of a conventional condeep, the lower domes, can start. 16,000 square meters of formwork for the domes must be built, 27 meters above the ground. The pressure at dome level will be more than 216 tons per square meter. The storage cells must be able to resist this pressure. Hence the domes, which are up to 4 feet thick, are heavily reinforced. NC's job is to deliver a complete gravity-based structure. As the concrete gradually takes shape, the mechanical outfitting will start. January 1987. The lower domes have been completed. The slip forms are reinstalled in order to construct the lower part of the cell walls while the structure is still in the dock. After 8 meters, the slip form construction is stopped. The upper weight limit for floating in a 14-meter deep dock has been reached. At last, the concrete will be surrounded by the element it is designed for: water. All previous condeep platforms have featured bottom sections, which in principle have been like boats at tow-out. Due to the tall skirts, Gullfaks C is like a capsized boat. All of the 200,000 tons must be made to float by means of compressed air under the skirts. "400,000 cubic meters of air under pressure, an enormous quantity of energy. Energy which is required for the 200,000 tons of concrete to become a vessel." Extremely slowly and cautiously, with a bottom clearance of less than 1 meter, the journey to Vats can start.
Gullfaks C. Steering power.
Steering power for the ones. 1 solve on steering power.
Vats, a deep and shielded fjord used for the completion of a number of condeep platforms. The first major job is the slip-form construction of the 56 meters high storage cells. Several thousand shiploads of sand and gravel will go through the mixing plants. In the course of 50 days and nights, 25,000 tons of reinforcing steel will be put into place and covered with 115,000 cubic meters of concrete. After completing the cell walls, the work continues on the upper domes and the lower part of the shafts. The storage cells are closed. They have a total volume of approximately 2 million cubic meters, enough to fill 10 supertankers with oil. Gullfaks C has gradually developed an internal life. People are crawling around like bees. Pipes and cables, pumps and valves are installed, meter by meter. This will represent both the blood vessels and the nerve structure of the complete platform. Due to the great water depths, the Gullfaks C shafts will be almost twice as tall as those of previous condeep platforms, 170 meters from the cells to the top. The wall thickness and the shaft diameter are continuously adjusted. 3 of the shafts must be inclined inwardly to make the top of the shafts fit the deck. This is undoubtedly the most sophisticated slip-form operation on Gullfaks C. the summer of 1988. All the major concrete work has been completed, and during a few hectic months, the shafts will be filled with mechanical equipment. The difference between the shafts is now clearer. The water shaft empty, except for a few pipes for seawater intake. The utility shaft, filled with pumps, valves, and control systems from the top all the way down to the bottom, totals 250 meters, centimeter by centimeter, completed by man. New Year's Eve, 1988. Gullfaks C is on a journey from Vats to Stord, where the steel deck has been built. The deck will be placed on the top of the shafts. Preparations are made for the concrete structure to be lowered down into the deep. Due to the height of the shafts, the water pressure on the cell walls is extremely high. Vulnerable, with only 7 meters above water, waiting for its mate that will start its lap from Stord shipyard. The deck is lifted and transported by means of barges. Barges controlled by water and air. Early in the morning, and the mating can start. The two enormous structures slide together within tolerances of a few millimeters. May 1989. Gullfaks C, the largest man-made object ever moved, ready for tow-out through the narrow Langenuen and out to the field. 11 tugs and 136,000 horsepower are needed to maneuver this giant, featuring a displacement of 1.5 million tons.
All tugs 10 degrees to port.
One, 10 degrees. Number 2, 10 to port. Number 3, 10 to port. Number 4, 10 to port. Number 5, 10 to port. Number 6, 10 to port.
Finally, in open waters, storm and heavy sea slow down the speed of the tow. Gullfaks C is designed to withstand such elements, and a real condip is also a good vessel. 8th May 1989. The Gullfaks field with the sister platforms Gullfaks A and B. Connecting pipes to these platforms were already laid, and an accurate position was thus extremely important. The tugs were assigned to stay in an exact position while the skirts were lowered down onto the seabed. The penetration of 22 meters through the clay was controlled by adding water ballast and applying suction or vacuum for each individual skirt. At the bottom, grout was pumped into the remaining cavities. Gullfaks C is the largest condeep delivered by Norwegian contractors to date. In total, we have designed and built more than a dozen condeeps. No wonder it's become our trademark. We still build them, quicker and less costly than before. But condeep is only one of our concepts. Our main objective is to create a technology suited for the industry of tomorrow.